Hi, I'm Eric Poulin.
And I'm Robin Poulin.
We're the co-founders of Calendar Budget, and welcome to the Calendar Budget Podcast.
I can pay cash, I can pay check, I can pay wire transfer, I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I can pay anything you like. I can pay cash, I can pay check, I can pay wire transfer, I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I can pay anything you like.
Today we will be discussing food. Food, glorious food. It seems that food is a major part of our life, that it has basically involved in everything that we do. Any events that we have tends to involve food, at least with my family, and with your family too, I'm pretty sure.
Humans need to eat.
Yeah, I know, but if you're gonna go somewhere and the event's not running, let's go find food. So food, it comes with many different costs and it changes all the time. That's called a variable cost. We've discussed that before. And it's just not constant. Every week, the prices go up and down. Now, the biggest question I find most people have is, what is there to eat? Our girls are hilarious. You can just go grocery shopping. Cupboards are stocked. Fridge is stocked.
They just help to put the food away.
Exactly.
They know exactly what we got. They were there helping us get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And then they open the fridge and they stand there and they look. We have no food. There's only ingredients. And the great thing is they actually know how to cook gourmet meals too. So, yeah, that's the fun part. Now, food though, the variable cost, what can we do about that? There's so many things that we just blow our food budget on. What do you find is the biggest culprits for this, Eric?
For blowing your food budget?
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens that I made a list. I should do this like in David Letterman style. The number one ways to blow your budget on food. Eat out often and unplanned.
You got that David Letterman thing right down.
I need to throw the cue card and have the glass smashing. Anyway, so eating out often. Eating in often, like when you order in, same idea.
Yep.
Shopping when you're hungry. Everybody knows that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Never make meals for yourself. Always just get ready-made meals or whatever.
Yep.
Say yes to everyone else's wants when you ask them, what should we get for groceries?
Ice cream.
Just make a list of everybody's wants and just get everything on that list rather than ever saying no.
Yep.
Bringing the kids shopping.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we'll talk about that one later. But also going to the grocery store many times each week.
Yeah.
Great ways to blow your food budget.
Now, I guess I need to investigate my food shopping. Well, we need to save on our groceries. We need to save on our food. What can we do about that? The biggest problem I find is deciding what to make for supper. I hate deciding. You have so many different appetites in this house.
It's fine for me. Just a burger every night. I'm good. No problem.
That's your ideal meal plan.
Of course.
My ideal
Burgers
meal plan?
every day.
Well,
No, I would go crazy actually.
every other day maybe.
At least twice a week.
Okay.
Keep it simple. It's all for you. Because you do most of the meal prep in our house.
Yeah, you do cook as well, but you prefer not to. I get your concept. It takes so much time to prepare the food and so much time to clean it up and then 5 minutes to eat it.
I'd rather be working on Calendar Budget.
Of course.
My skills are better suited for this task.
Definitely. I understand that concept though, and you are a good cook too, so I love when you cook, but yeah. Well, my ideal is I would love a fresh garden with fresh fruits and vegetables all the time. That way you can have good, healthy meals all the time. That'd be my ideal. But that's not always easy to do.
Well, then you got to take care of a garden for many, many, many hours every week.
Well, that's not so bad. Gets you outside, and I've done it before a little bit at another location where we lived before, but
I don't know.
it was nice. I
a lot
also
of time.
had Yeah, it is. And it was fun setting it up. It was fun being creative, and it was delicious food. At the same time, I didn't really know entirely what I was doing. So we had kale, and it took over the garden. So we had more kale than we knew what to do with.
Wait, a kale infestation?
We did.
I thought we had a pumpkin vine infestation or something.
Oh, that happened too. Maybe the same year, actually. And that went up and down the lawn. But yeah. It was cool. We had so much kale with it.
We don't have a farm, by the way. We just have a regular city house
exactly.
with a little backyard.
Small backyard.
Just started snaking everywhere.
Yeah. Probably about 15, 20 feet from the deck to the back end of the backyard. So yeah, not much space to be playing with a pumpkin vine. But it was good. It's healthy. And really, if you don't have space for a garden or don't have the expertise or anything like that, you can always go to local farmers and get their food, get their produce and dairy, fresh eggs.
If you know how do you go to local farmers? Just look up farmer in the phone book?
Well,
how do you find local farmers?
We did have a couple of places on our drive going back and forth from the little city that we lived in to the next city over, that on the edge of the country road there, you see these little stands.
Okay.
Or that big farm that we'd always get our pumpkins from when we wanted them.
Yeah, like by the edge of the road.
Exactly.
Like stands. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And they often have other things growing there. Or come pick your own strawberries or raspberries or apples or anything like that. And you just watch for that sort of thing or go on some local community page and they can tell you where things are. Or I have friends that are into these things. They love the farm fresh eggs. Or even one friend, she got chickens of her own, and now she grows her own eggs.
Grows chickens.
Grows chickens.
Don't forget to water the chickens.
Exactly. Fresh meat and fresh eggs. So, yeah. And they do taste good. Every now and then you get like this really massive egg. It's crazy.
Yeah, and blue and weird colors.
Yeah, all different colors.
Yeah.
It's different.
I'm a city boy, so when I see stuff like that, I'm like, that looks like it's bad. That looks like a bad egg.
It's not. When you taste it, I taste the difference. I don't know if you tasted the difference, but I definitely taste the difference between the fresh and these store-bought ones that have been sitting there for a while.
Every time I hear you say you taste the difference, it just reminds me of every person I've ever spoken to who just wants their opinion to matter more, and they say it tastes better, and I'm tasting it and like it tastes exactly the same as the store-bought thing, exactly the same. Yeah, I think it's a way to like make your opinion seem more valuable, but I don't know that it
Let's see. Robin homemade soup or canned soup?
Okay, but that's different. That's your skill. That's not the quality of the ingredients.
Well, there is a quality difference I find in eggs, and I'm particular about eggs because I really don't like eggs very much. I
do like eggs a lot.
Yeah.
I think I would notice it more for that reason, but I have not.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to try a test sometime comparing.
Always the farmers are the ones that say that farm eggs taste better. That seems like marketing to me.
Well, we changed the milk that we use, and we like this new milk compared to the regular.
That's true, because the new stuff isn't actually milk. It's just a milk substitute.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it lactose free or something?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Huh. I'm actually okay with it. And I don't
Maybe it's lactose to taste nasty. I don't know. Regular milk just is, I don't know.
Okay. So
anyway, I think we might,
off topic
I think we might be off track with our budgeting.
Yeah. So basically, the biggest problem though is deciding what to cook. So there's so many ideas to be able to help you get around that. And the biggest thing is to have meal planning in place. And with a good meal plan, it saves your mind, saves your sanity, and you can actually save a lot of time and a lot of money too. So think about it. Think what's going to work for you. So there's different ways you can do this meal planning thing. The best thing you can do is to always have your basic ingredients on hand. Because if you have those basic ingredients, you can have these go-to meals that you know that you like eggs. You have those always on hand. Bread, milk. If you want to eat bread, we're trying to cut out the breads too. So, but things like that, cheese, some basic stuff that you can make pretty much anything you want for a basic meal. Some certain meats and vegetables are on hand, and you can make just about anything. But that's the thing. You want to make sure you keep them in stock so that you have enough that will last, but won't go bad.
Otherwise, you'll be running to the grocery store many times a week. And of course, once you're in the grocery store, you're never just getting the eggs that you need. No. You always come out with many items.
Yes. Usually,
and somehow ice cream and chips or some kind of snack always seems to make it on the list of necessities.
Agreed. So where to start? You want to have more than your basic plan. You want to expand your list so that you can have some variety. And the best way to save on keeping those basics stockpiled and some other variety is to check your flyers. The flyers are available online. I use this app called Flip. It's amazing. You can look through the flyers. You can see what stores have discounts on what things.
This is FLIPP?
Yes.
2 Ps?
2 Ps. Exactly. And it's fantastic. Back in the day, Walmart used to do price matching as well. So I would open the app and I would show the little price from a different store.
They don't do price matching anymore?
Walmart stopped doing that, at least in Canada. I don't know if they do it anywhere else.
Most grocery stores still do, though, yeah?
Very rare.
I thought I just saw it in a sign yesterday.
Did you?
I don't know. Maybe not.
It's rare.
Okay.
And maybe it might be certain items that they'll match. And certain stores will do it. But Walmart was the big one for that. And they stopped doing it. And it was disappointing. But yeah, it takes a lot of effort to do all these price matchings and collect. They do coupons and stuff on the Flip app as well, or rebates.
Or if you're old school and still get a newspaper, there will be ads in there for sure, like weekly sales and whatever.
Yeah, all the flyers in there. Definitely. If that's something you need, go for it. Just the flyers are a great go-to. You can check even for your fruits and vegetables that will cost less at that time. And that goes up and down with seasons as well. So if you're going to buy, say, raspberries, that's one of the things that the kids love and you love. There's a certain time of year that it's cheaper than others, or even watermelon. You can pay up to like $15 for a watermelon, Canadian here. And I'm thinking, that's just ridiculous. Please, like under $7 at least, and a giant one too.
Especially since half of it almost always just goes bad in the fridge because it's way too much watermelon.
Yes. Unless you can juice it. That could help. But still, it still takes a long time. So you don't want to go to waste. If you're not going to eat it, don't bother buying it. So compare prices between the different stores. And so you could find yourself, though, going around to all these different stores trying to get a good deal. And now you've wasted your time and your money. So you can plan your shopping. Maybe today you go to one store while you're on your way to this trip that brings you in that direction. And tomorrow you can go to the next store on your way to the other store, other direction. You're going for another activity.
Yeah.
So that can help save you time and money as well.
Yeah.
So what you do is you collect all these ideas from the flyers and you see what kind of menu you can make from those things and what you can combine together and make a new meal maybe. Be creative, create something new.
So this is a point too where you want to make sure you're not doing this exercise while you're hungry. And suddenly all these exotic meals sound so appetizing, but you'll never ever make them. You'll buy the ingredients and then they just rot in the fridge and you'll never use it.
Yeah.
Just make sure you buy what you're going to use and use what you buy and then you're good.
Yeah.
But that so often doesn't happen. If you're going to try something else, cool. Put it in your plan though. Like don't just say, "Hey, we should try making this quinoa quiche." I don't know, something weird that you would just as outside of your normal wheelhouse, and you're like,
Yeah.
Looks good when I'm hungry.
Yeah, the quinoa is kind of newish for us. We like it. We just don't usually have it on hand, so something I gotta put on the grocery list. I find out.
Didn't we just talk about that?
Yeah.
No, actually I like quinoa.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good rice substitute, I think.
Yeah, rice is too starchy, too many carbs.
Yeah. I'd like to get cilantro because I think it's a fantastic addition to meals, adds this nice fresh flavor, but you guys don't like it very much.
Yeah, the flavor of grass. Please add some grass clippings to my meal. Thank you.
Man, it's wonderful. It tastes great.
Onion and grass is my description of it.
I put it in my vegetarian chili that I tend to add meat to. So, and it's fantastic. I love that taste of the
The
chili.
meat vegetarian chili.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a classic.
It was a great recipe, and I think I'm the only one who really likes it. I think you like it too, but I love it. Yeah, recipes. Okay. Anyway, the thing is, use your flyers and find things that are going to help you to save money by combining and make some new recipes. Now, it would be great if we all had access to a garden and to farmers, but they're not next door. It's not on your way most of the time if you're living in the city. So just go to the local grocery store and be aware that the grocery store is a lovely place to get stuck in. The produce, they try to keep it fresh all the time. And they go through it and they weed it out. You'll see them doing that. These beautiful fruits and vegetables, all nice and turgid and everything to be fresh for you to eat.
Turgid. That's a good word.
Yeah. Dictionary.com.
That's right. We just upped the education level of our podcast listeners with that one word.
Dictionary.com's great go-to.
Nice.
So there's another thing you could do to create an easy meal plan that every week you don't have to guess what you're going to eat. This friend of a friend, actually, I tweaked her plan a little bit, but I thought of a good meal plan based on some of the things that she said was repeat this meal plan every week. So on Mondays, you can make it a pasta day, macaroni day. Tuesdays, turkey or chicken dinner. Wednesdays, hot turkey or chicken sandwiches. Thursdays, clean out the fridge soup. Fridays, fish and chips. Saturday, pizza or appetizer collection. And Sundays, veggies, cold cuts, crackers, and cheese. The thing is, you want to make sure you have these things in stock to be able to repeat that menu. And over time, it'll probably cost a little bit less because some of the ingredients can last longer than others. But things like fish and chips and stuff like that, if they're going to be frozen, then you need to make sure that you have enough freezer space and enough space to keep these things in stock. But yeah, what do you think of a repeat menu like that?
You need to make sure you don't go like you could get sick of these meals every week pretty quickly. So I like that some of these ideas were categories of meals instead of just a specific meal.
Yes.
I noticed that burgers wasn't on the list though.
I'm sorry.
I think we need to amend
Amend the
plan.
menu. Got it. Burgers, yes.
But yeah, it's easy to get sick of things. Even like pasta Mondays. Okay. I don't really like pasta very much. I'm going to hate every Monday.
There's
Just another reason to hate Mondays.
I want to not like pasta because, again, it's lots of starches. I know there's pasta substitutes. You can do these zucchini noodles or like spiral carrot noodles or something like that. But then I think all you guys end up turning your nose up at it. And you're like, oh, please. It's
I don't mind.
vegetables.
It's better than regular pasta.
Yeah. So I can consider this.
Like, if I'm exercising and trying to not turn into
Gordo.
a huge person,
Yeah.
right? So pasta is
Sorry, that
not
was Spanish for large.
pasta is not on my list of things because
Starches.
if anything, at my age, I'm trying to lose weight because I'm such an old man, apparently. By that comment, I'm not that old.
We're still young.
But you know, most people who have kids that are teenagers are usually not in perfectly good shape. That's me. Great, I'm going to the gym and stuff, but there's nothing that's going to change my diet except me by planning what we eat. And for me, pasta is just not on my list. So to make a pasta a night is like, okay,
Yeah.
guess I'm having carrots that night.
Pizza? No, bread's done.
Or burger.
Burger.
Of leftover burger. No, I'm kidding.
Deconstructed
Keep
burger, no bun.
You're not asking the key question here is, why are you trying to eat burgers so much if you're trying to lose weight? But we're trying to stay on budgeting topics, so we better not ask that question.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm with you. I like variety. And I think I like the idea of a repeat menu, but I would prefer probably about a month or two of menu put together. I think that allows for variety and space in between.
Like 4 weeks of different items and then repeat the whole 4 week?
Yeah. I think that would make life easier. That
Maybe,
at least you know.
You're probably not going to get an optimized shopping program with that much variety, though.
Yeah. It would be totally over time that you would put that menu together. It would take a long time to.
It would take you a very long years to get effective at that.
But I'm okay with that. Introducing new cultures all
when
the time.
you're a young family and you have young kids, they only like 2 meals anyway. So it's
hot
easy.
dogs, craft dinner, spaghetti.
It's easy to get them on a plan. Yep. But, adults who have a little more variety in our palate,
our palates have expanded.
Just want some variety.
Yeah.
We have enough mundanity in our life with the if we're going to a job every day that's the same, if every day seems to be the same. So the food is one of the ways that we can change things up. And if you make that too much the same, then you kind of suck all the enjoyment and interest out of life.
Yeah. Although I do recall your mom and dad, she was a little disgruntled, I guess. She would make a sandwich for your dad all the time. And it was the same thing every day. If I remember correctly, it was bologna sandwich every day, day after day, day after day.
This sounds like a Newfie joke.
Yes. But she got sick of doing this, so she's like, I think I'll surprise him. And she left the wrapper on the meat, so he goes to bite into his sandwich. And I understand they had a good little while of having a little bit of a war back and forth with each other, doing these crazy little pranks on each other. All in play, of course.
Of course.
Having fun together. The good married life. So, the best thing you can do for yourself, though, is to eat healthy. Find out what's going to work for your family, what kind of variety, and the healthier you can make it, the better. Because it doesn't only just save on food, it also saves on your budget for that, but it also saves on your medical expenses too. There's some quick meals that you can get from the store. They're not as healthy, but you can still find healthy meals at the store that are quick. I went with one of the girls to the store not too long ago, and they were admiring this. They're like, "Oh, look at this pastel Alfredo. This is amazing. It has chicken in it. It looks so delicious." And just looked at it.
Like a pre-cooked thing?
Yeah. And yeah, actually it was all cooked. And all you do is mix it together. And she's looking, she's like, "Oh, it looks fantastic." And then she looked at the price, she's like, $20?
Yeah.
And it'd probably feed, I don't know, 3 people. Barely. Not generously, definitely.
So it's a little bit better than fast food, but barely.
Yeah.
Just barely.
It's fresher-ish. Fresher than, your completely fast food for healthiness.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let me think, what else do they have? Salads. These pre-made salads that you just mix the kit together. You don't have to cut anything up. It's wonderful. It's fast. It's easy. But again, she looked at it and she's like, $15 or $18? Like, I'm not spending that on a salad. And that would, again, probably feed 3 people comfortably, just barely. She's like, forget that. Like, well, we could go buy all the ingredients. We have a couple of these things at home already. All we need probably is lettuce. I think we have everything else. And a fraction of the price. But then you've got to put in the effort.
Then you got to prepare the food.
Yeah.
Suddenly you don't have food anymore. You just have ingredients.
Yeah. And I think when they find something they really like, then they're okay with the ingredients. Something like salad that's not as complicated as making, say, this stuffed, she saw stuffed peppers as well. That they were already prepared. She's like, "Oh, that looks fantastic." And again, she looked at the price. She's like, "Oh, forget it." But there's so many other things you can get. You can get these frozen meals, like the pre-made lasagnas, which they don't like my lasagna. They like the frozen lasagna. And I think you're the same. You're like, I don't care. Don't see the difference.
I don't like frozen lasagna or your lasagna.
Oh yeah, tomato-based.
Sorry.
You like the Alfredo one I make, though? With bacon. That's
pasta.
Bacon.
Trying to avoid pasta, though, remember?
Zucchini noodles.
You're going to have a zucchini layer for pasta?
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds suspect.
Okay, carrots. Squash.
Carrots again for dinner.
Squash. Easily done. Yeah. Still, it's different things you can do. What other things can you do? These packaged side dishes. We used to buy those sidekicks packages you can get with the Alfredo pasta and chicken pasta or something like that.
TV dinners.
Yeah, or those
Microwave.
little packages mix up and cook it on the stove in like 10 minutes and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're quick go-to, but you're not getting very much nutrition out of that.
Enough.
Not that. If you put vegetables in it, or on the side at least.
Yeah, I mean,
makes
I
it
think
better.
you're supposed to have vegetables with every single meal.
It's called sidekicks for a reason. You're not supposed to have...
You mean sidekick main courses?
Exactly. You're supposed to have your meat, I guess, and some vegetables, and this little
It's
package is
actually a
supposed to be a
front
sidekick.
kick, not a side kick.
Kick to the gut, man. Not the healthiest thing, but... Yeah, it can work. I know I've seen your parents get these roasts from Walmart that are packaged, and you just stick it in its bag that it's in with its juices and gravy or whatever, and you stick the bag in boiling water. And it's not as price effective as buying the whole roast itself, but it's a lot faster.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're getting a pre-cooked meal or a prepared meal in some way, right, you're going to save time,
Yeah.
but you're definitely not getting the best nutrition
Yeah.
and maybe not the best flavor. Maybe the flavor's fine. Maybe it's just nutrition.
Yeah.
But you got to keep, and it's definitely going to cost more, right?
Yes.
So if you're looking purely at cost, you got to consider, okay, you talk about how it can save you time, but is that time that you would otherwise be watching television?
Yeah, exactly.
Scrolling through TikTok?
Time
Or
is money.
Would
but...
you be working during that time and earning money, and therefore it's fair to use that comparison?
Yes.
You know, if you're just saying, but my time is worth, okay, but your time isn't worth anything if you're just watching television or scrolling through TikTok or doing something that's a waste of time.
If you're just sitting around, you're going to be getting bigger and bigger.
Well, I mean, and so don't get me wrong, there's something to be said for just unwinding and having leisure time, of course, but,
Yeah.
like 4 hours a day of just leisure, that's unproductive.
Yeah. Agreed. Any other quick things you can think of? Microwave meals. You can get those really inexpensive at the store, and they're small and
I mean, I don't even have meals most of the time, to be honest.
snack.
I graze throughout the day, which means I don't need 3 meals a day as they did back in the day
Yeah.
because people are out working on the farm and they can't snack. Like, I work literally at the desk that we're recording this podcast on. This is where Calendar Budget is developed, right here on my screens. And I just eat during the day, little things here and there, and I don't need to have a big meal. So for me, it's more like, what can I have that's a nutritious meal so that I'm not just having like 30 pepperoni sticks in a day and all I've had is meat in a day or something that's quick, like a bag of chips. That's not a great healthy choice.
No,
So-
just filler.
Looking for healthy ways to graze, that's my concern, and we do have meals occasionally.
Yeah.
But, maybe we should have them more often. I think probably yes.
We tend to have at least a dinner, and the rest of it is kind of grazing throughout the day, most of the time.
Yeah.
Not 100% of the time, but a high percentage.
Yeah, we don't always have dinner either because sometimes we just get busy and the family schedule is insane. So
It's like make your own, get a grilled cheese or something.
don't bother.
Yeah.
But, aside from the budgeting aspect of things and the nutritional aspect, there's something to be said about having a family dinner, because that's like sacred family time where you're spending time with each other, you're communicating, you're
Catching up.
downloading on how people's days were, and that's like you're bonding. You can't really replace that, and so that's valuable as well. For me, that's my main drive to have a meal, is that bonding time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would just work at my desk. I would just work until I die every day.
Yes. Well, part of the things we were said before was the hard part of deciding what to make. But the other hard part of making meals, I find, is it can take a long time if you're going to make something like homemade chili. A good hour and a half, especially me when I make it. I get out that big, huge, massive pot that makes very many portions. And so bulk cooking, I think that's fantastic. And you guys are a little bit picky about having frozen leftovers or something like that I do, but it works. It can...
You mean encore meals, not leftovers.
Exactly.
Sounds more appetizing when you call it an encore.
I know. I thought of
Instead
that
of
term
leftovers.
10 years ago. It was awesome. Yeah. Well, not everybody believes that it's a wonderful encore, so... My mom does this.
They've just never had your cooking, huh?
Yeah. Fresh cooked awesomeness. My mom does it though. What she does is she cooks this huge roast and then she divides it up and has her potatoes and gravy. So the gravy helps to keep the moisture in the meat and to keep the potatoes a little more appetizing as well with being frozen. Or sometimes I think she just freezes the meat and then cooks extra potatoes that day. So instead of having to cook a whole roast. And divides it up into these small portions, puts it in containers, or just puts it in a bag thing where it can seal it. And it seals in the freshness. And so it lasts a lot longer.
You're starting to sound like a commercial. Yours for $29.99. Her mom's technique.
Uh-huh. It works wonderfully though. Oh,
Sealed in for freshness.
there is one thing I forgot about though. You have to label it. Label with what it is, because you don't want this mystery package coming out. What is this? It looks like, and then you open it and find out it's liver when you wanted.
Why would you ever make liver in the first place, is my first question.
I agree on that one. No thank you, no organs, thank you very much. That's my liking or disliking. Yeah. Not into that. So you have to label it with what it is, when it was made, and what else do you need to put on there? Oh, any prep instructions to make sure if it's going to be, don't forget to boil this.
Microwave.
Or, yeah.
Just 100% of them just say microwave.
Yeah. Or I've seen these things though where they make these jars where you layer lentils and spices and other things like that. I've been part of this where it makes a soup. All you have to do is add water or add broth. And what you would do is you have these labels then attached to the jar that says add 4 cups of water or 10 cups of water, whatever it is, or add extra fresh onions or something like that. So
suddenly that's not bulk cooking though. That's just
yes,
making yourself more work to do at another time.
actually it's a lot less work, honestly.
Okay.
Because gathering all those things in the first place, because you can put together 10 jars in one day and probably in like an hour or less, maybe half an hour. And then when you go to cook them, you have 10 meals already prepared that all you have to do is cook.
I've seen people give those as gifts because they look
Pretty.
cool. They're pretty.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of gifts that I see sit in our cupboard for years and years and years and never get used because they're ingredients. They're not food.
Honestly, I would use it faster now after having looked at more recipes for making soups. I'm like, actually, those are fantastic because they're just quick and easy instead of having to gather everything.
Well, there's also, so that's bulk cooking, but there's also this concept of an assembly group where if you're not just on your own cooking all your things, you can do like get a whole bunch of people together.
Yeah.
And you're all gonna like use the same kitchen and cook together. And I guess that you're not helping each other in that case, are you? Or it's just like you're doing it together for the social reason?
Social, and actually you have one person maybe preparing the pasta, and one person, like if you're making homemade lasagnas or something like that.
Okay.
One person's cooking up the pasta, one person's cooking up the meat.
Is it the idea everybody's cooking the same thing?
Yeah, everybody's cooking together.
Okay.
Or maybe cooking a different, maybe you have somebody cooking up ground beef. But then all this ground beef gets separated into a portion is used for making tacos, a portion is used for making spaghetti sauce, another portion used for
burgers.
shepherd's pie. Well, you don't want to cook it. You need to, assembling the burger and then somebody else smushing them down maybe.
I just wanted to make sure that was on the list.
Burgers. Got it. What was it you wanted?
We're gonna get some people send me coupons for burgers after this podcast, and I will thank you personally.
Or some lovely mail that says, "Don't eat beef."
Yeah. We're gonna anger all the vegans and vegetarians.
Exactly. Of course, we're not talking about beef burgers. We're talking about vegetarian burgers.
Impossible burgers, obviously.
I've done it before, where me and my friend Julie, we got together and we made a bunch of different lasagnas, and it was delicious. We made a regular pasta sauce one, and we made an Alfredo one with bacon and chicken in it. Tasted fantastic. I froze it up in these tiny little metal containers then that can just bake in the oven however many portions you need.
Yep.
Instead of cooking up a whole...
Well, there's also the idea of meal exchanges where you're at your house by yourself and you just spend a day cooking like one meal, but cook 15 of them.
Yeah.
Right? And then freeze it. And then you have an exchange where you bring like, I don't know, if you made 14 of them, then keep 2 for yourself and bring 12 to the group and distribute 2 per family, 2. And then everybody does that. And so you collect 2 items from each person in the exchange group and suddenly you have your variety. Just you better hope that you like their style of cooking.
Agreed.
But that's the thing. Like you make your own exchange group. These things they don't like exist that you can just tap into. You have to make it yourself. So you like call your friends and say, "Hey, are you interested in trying this out?" And that's how you form it. It's not like they're on the yellow pages and you can't just Google them.
Yep. I find that I've ended up in this sort of thing for a short time here and there, actually, where maybe we'll do cookies exchange or a treat exchange at Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And it's fantastic. Then you have a nice variety when your Christmas parties come along for all these different cookies. Of course, they're not all homemade, fresh at that moment then. But if some of the things can be frozen, and if you just pop them in the oven again for a moment, they taste just as if they were fresh. So... Or an air fryer.
30 minutes equals 1 moment, apparently.
Well, no, not 30 minutes. Maybe 15.
Okay.
Well.
That's my grazing problem, though. When I go down, I want to open the fridge and grab something and get back to work. Yeah. 15 minutes is a lifetime for me. That's why this doesn't work very effectively. It would work great for, let's prepare one of these 3 main meals for the day. And instead of taking an hour, it takes 15 minutes. But for a grazer... it's a lifetime. Yeah.
And then we find one of our daughters now, she likes to eat about every hour and a half just to kind of keep her energy levels up. So that'd be another issue.
Got some metabolism
somebody that
issues.
needs small meals often. I'll have to look into that. Or, hey, you guys got any ideas? We would love to hear that. We love recipes, different cultures. That makes it for a nice variety then. Different cultural foods. Now, what if you have a problem that going to the store means that you just always impulse buy? What are you going to do about that?
Make a list. Only buy what's on the list.
Yeah.
Got to discipline yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't go to shopping with your eyes. Go shopping with your list. So instead of looking around the store like this when you're shopping, you should be looking like this. Where's the next thing that I need to go? And organize your list by the groups. You know that all the meats, the breads, the milks, all these things are in sections and you can kind of, if you're familiar with it, you can kind of organize your list in sequence of the path you have to take throughout the store.
Yep.
So then you're not like looking around and being like, oh, look, there's a cake on sale. Oh, look, there's this on sale. No. Stick to your list. That's the only way.
Yeah, usually you know your floor plan of your store until they change things up. Or you go to a new location and then everything's flipped and backwards.
But they're all basically the same, right? They always
Generally.
put the essentials at the very back
Yeah.
to force you to walk by all the deals that distract you from your life,
Yeah.
right? They're all designed that way.
Another way to help you curb that impulse shop, online shop. Then you stick with your list. You don't have all the fancy colors and smells to allure you in, and get what's on your list.
Yeah.
Or even if you just can't get out to the store, maybe you have young kids and it's just not conducive to getting out
Maybe
to the
there's
store.
a pandemic and you cannot go into the store at all.
Online shop, drive up, pick it up, or have it delivered to the house. That would help a lot.
We've never used it because we're afraid that people are going to pick bad vegetables. Vegetables that go bad in one day in the fridge.
Yes.
So, as long as you're going to use the stuff that you're ordering, then that would work great. But if you're like us and a little bit afraid, maybe experiment with it until you get comfortable. I feel like it wouldn't be as bad as we have it built it up in our minds to be.
Yeah. I think half our problems, like you were saying before, is we have these great ideas to make these wonderful meals, and we just get busy, and that meal comes and goes for the day that it was supposed to happen, and then the produce goes bad.
Yeah, like 90% of the time when we make a plan for a meal in the beginning of the day,
Yeah.
90% of the time it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Or the package you get is this size, and really all you needed was this size, but then if you're going to buy this size, it costs the same as this size.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, maybe I can triple the recipe and I can freeze the leftovers, and nobody's going to eat it then. It's frozen.
Well, and also make sure you have space in your freezer for this stuff. Like
Yeah,
you can't
your
just
fridge.
freeze everything because now your freezer is full of frozen stuff. So when
Yeah.
you're making your list for groceries, always check what's available on hand first. Never buy duplicates because something's gonna just go rot in the fridge and you're gonna throw it out. That's waste.
Yeah.
And if you already have stuff in your freezer, just use that first, right?
Yep.
We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but I'm going to talk about it now just to mess up your podcast plan. But use the concept of a FIFO method. This is like from inventory theory. It's first in, first out. So the first thing that you put in your fridge should be the next thing that comes out. You don't put the last thing that you put in your fridge and so if I put something in on a Monday and then I buy another of the same thing on Saturday, use the thing that you got on Monday first so that you're kind of rotating it, right? Mm-hmm. Which means you can't put it at the front. You got to put new things at the back of the fridge and then move things forward so that you kind of have the things that you are ready to be consumed or need to be consumed at the front.
Agreed. Yep.
Especially for people who don't understand this, like your kids. And they just grab what's at the front because they can't reach at the back or they don't care to bother looking.
Don't move things. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Waste. Let's see. Something else I find that helps with a good meal plan and to save money is to make your meals stretch. And there's a couple ways you can do that. One thing I like to do is add some probably unexpected ingredients to your sauces and your casseroles. So things that you wouldn't even realize that
Nails?
I put in. No.
Nuts and bolts? What do you mean by unexpected
no.
ingredients?
So in your spaghetti sauce, I think I've seen my dad do it. Add carrot to it. Grated carrot. You wouldn't even know it was in there. It just bulks up the recipe.
This woman likes to add carrots to everything.
Well, I know carrots is something that you like a little bit. I would do zucchini, but you don't like it as much. So, yeah. Okay, so let me think. I would add carrot, grated carrot, maybe some very minutely chopped zucchini and some black beans to a spaghetti sauce or to a chili or to, say, shepherd's pie or something like that. Any extra vegetables I would stick in the shepherd's pie, or anything like that. Any sort of casserole or a sauce, even gravies. You can add extra things to it. And what it does, it adds nutrients to it to make it even healthier. And it bulks it up, makes it stretch further. I remember something I learned from the Garcia family, that they started, is it called bulgur or something like that, where you soak
Yeah. Wheat germ.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Where they expand a bit, and then you put it in your gravy sauce or in your casserole, and it's a great source of fiber, and it makes the meal stretch further.
You got to prepare for that though, because it takes a day or two to soak.
Yeah, you soak it the day before.
You can't do it. It's actually very unhealthy if you don't soak it first, because it can cause serious indigestion. Hospital visit indigestion.
Thank you for that disclaimer.
Yeah, don't just look into that. You got to be prepared. But other things you can do, like you can add quinoa or lentils.
Lentils.
Or those kind of things. You just can throw that into almost anything.
Yes.
It'll bulk things up, add fiber, and you won't even know it.
Yeah. So that's one way to like make the thing stretch. Another way you can make the meals stretch further is, or for timing especially, is to cook just a little bit extra or maybe double the amount you're going to cook. And then you have an easy way to create these freezer meals that we were talking about before, where any leftovers, you just set them aside and like you plan to have leftovers so that...
Yeah. Planned encore.
Exactly. Maybe you cook meat and potatoes and rice. And you would cook extra rice then, because the next day you plan on making some bacon fried rice or some other rice casserole that you don't have to take the time to wait for the rice to be cooked and then whatever. If you're going to chop up onions, today, you know, everybody comes to tears cutting up the onions. But if you don't know the tricks, I forget what the trick is, but I know it works.
Light a candle.
That's what it is.
Or just suck it up and stop crying.
Exactly. I'm so glad I have you for extra cooking ideas.
Right. I'm so helpful.
Definitely. The idea is, though, that you prepare something else extra ahead of time. Maybe it's a bigger turkey that you can then make soup the next day. Boil the bones and the extra meat that's on the bones.
Yeah. Day after soup, like clean out the fridge soup. It
yeah.
sounds like it's very utilitarian, but it's actually one of our favorite meals because you get like the best leftovers of the past 3 or 4 days all put into an awesome soup, and you make epic. She makes epic soups. Like we're lucky.
It's all in the spices. I have a cupboard full of spices. That whole cupboard is full of spices.
And the bones that you talked about, like if you make like a whole chicken or turkey, like don't just throw the carcass out. You can boil that down into soup with some magic voodoo method, and it tastes awesome. Yeah.
I think there's even better ways than I do, but I've seen, it's fantastic. It adds a nice flavor to the soup, and there's things you can do to bring out that flavor as well. So, and then it's healthier. You're not buying all this store-bought processed stuff that has all these different additives in it that wreak havoc on our body too. So, although I still go and use those things because that's what's available and for timing. Yeah.
Time is the enemy. North America, man, we just got away from home cooking. Life got busy, or at least we use that as a lame excuse to not cook.
Yep.
And we're just looking at what's in a box that I can microwave and have ready to eat in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, we're terrible at that. I'm the worst. I'm the worst at it.
Because you don't like the cooking very much. Although you've been finding these little freezer things I've made and started using those more so lately.
Because we made a commitment to each other that we're going to eat out less. So I'm not using what I used to do, Uber Eats. Remember that list of nasty ways to blow your budget? The budget master blows his budget from time to time. Well, I wouldn't say we don't blow budget because we actually did budget for that, but we decided to alter our budget.
Yeah.
So my actions commensurately have to change to fit the budget now. And so we're trying to save so that we moved some of our budget to another category.
We have some big goals that we want to accomplish, and we figured, hey, let's start saving for it now.
Yep, exactly. So need to change some of the food. And that's what led me to, instead of going to Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes, now I'm going to our freezer and exploring around, like rummaging for food like a bear. What's there to eat?
Some homemade meatballs that are very tasty, and I've seen you take some homemade soup and mix them together, and then you have this whole different flavor now with these combined flavors. So,
yep.
Yeah. Something I've seen friends, I spoke about it a moment ago, where cooking the one type of meat to make 3 different meals. Like, so you plan for that then. If you're going to do some bulk cooking, you're already going to have spaghetti tonight. Go ahead and cook some extra ground beef so that you can separate it and add the right seasonings in for the different things that you have your spaghetti sauce made. And then you can go ahead and make tacos. Or you can add in different seasonings and have shepherd's pie. Or whatever else that you come across that great meals, enchiladas maybe. Or maybe you can take your regular chicken breast and stick it in the food processor and you have ground chicken and you can make something totally different again. Different flavors, different variety. So what I love to do though for these spices is I collect all the good natural spices that are dried out you get from the store, because I'm not prepared to grow it yet. I'm not a great gardener and I tend to kill the plant.
You're not going to grow salt?
No, I'm talking about like basil and oregano, salt sauce,
Okay.
and yes. Go dig it out of the backyard.
And garlic?
Garlic.
You could grow garlic. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I bought a basil plant, but I don't have green thumbs, so it lasted a short time.
Confirmed they are in fact not green.
Yeah. But so what I do is I used to buy the taco mix, the little package you get, and make tacos. And then I realized I'm like, oh man, the store's closed, or it's a day that I don't want to go purchasing on Sundays. And I'm like, I'm not going into the store, but let's look up a recipe, see what we find. And found this amazing taco recipe on allrecipes.com, taco seasoning mix. And it turns out, no sugar in it. Where the other taco packets you get have sugar in it. And I like to do less sugar as possible. And taste better. And then I can control how much spice is going to go in, if it's going to be a really spicy seasoning, or how much is going to go into the meat mix when I am making it to make it more flavorful. So it's fantastic. And you have the seasoning mix, and I make a good jar of it too. And available, you just put like 2 tablespoons in your 1 per pound of ground beef, and you have your taco seasoning already mixed and ready to go anytime. And our youngest there, she loves cooking a few different Mexican meals and Spanish meals, and she uses that mix too. Asks me to fill it up every now and then. So, what do you think? Good meal planning here?
I guess.
Yeah. Should we make this 2-month meal plan, or at least 1 month?
I mean, the point of our podcast is about the budget for it. So
Yeah.
I'm more interested in how can we help people save money than a meal plan. A meal plan is a means to an end.
Yeah.
If it can save you money, great. If we're just talking about recipes, like that's for a recipe podcast.
Yeah. I recognize that some of this time, using your time in order to save money, but yeah. So different ideas and suggestions we have is to consider meal planning, to save your time, save money, especially to keep more money in your pocket. And to plan at least, I'd say 2 weeks. If you have 2 weeks planned, then that should give you enough to be able to consider what flyers, savings you can find, and what ingredients you'll need over the next couple of weeks.
That keep you from hitting the grocery store multiple times a week.
Yeah.
That's a huge budgeting problem.
And you can do a little bit more of bulk purchasing, where you can get like a tray of chicken that has like 10 pieces in it instead of the 2-pack more cost effective that way. Don't be afraid to change your plan, because you might find different things on sale, or you ran out of things faster than you expected. Use up what you have on hand. Buy what you're going to use and use what you buy. Don't waste. Shop the flyers, shop the sales, and check your meal plan according to that. Online shop to avoid you being easily lured in. And have all the ingredients on hand for basic meals. Get cooking. Include the kids so that they can get onto that same kind of concept as well. Teach them how to make homemade, to save time and money, to eat healthier, and to be included in that idea of saving money. Plan to have leftovers with your encore meals and that they're a great time saver. Bulk cook to save your time and money, and add variety to your meal so you don't get sick of it and end up wanting to eat out. So all these ideas will help you eat out less, help you eat healthier, and help you keep more money in your pocket. And be good to your budget. The more you save, the better it is. Happy budgeting.
I can pay cash, I can pay check, I can pay wire transfer, I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I can pay anything you like. I can pay cash, I can pay check, I can pay wire transfer, I can pay gift card, I can pay credit, I can pay anything you like.